Hello, it's Sarah. This is Hardcover Hearts. I'm here with kind of a chatty video. I haven't done one of these in such a long time. I hope this goes well. You'll have to excuse me if I'm a little rusty. I haven't done one of these in a very long time because, as you probably know if you've watched my channel for a while, I live in a very small one-bedroom apartment with my husband. And during the pandemic, he was unable to work. So I was here with him, and I have been working throughout the entire pandemic. So for most of the day, he's had to remain fairly quiet while I'm in meetings and Zoom and all of those kinds of things. So it felt a little extra for me to ask him to remain quiet for more than just my week of reading videos that I do, or an occasional review or BookTube prize declaration, something like that. So, but now, because the Bay Area, it looks like it may actually hit herd immunity soon with vaccinations, it looks like things are opening up, and including him going back to work. So I have a little bit more time and a little bit more space to create videos and to talk to you. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So the reason I wanted to come on today, this is my lunch hour, and I just saw something on Twitter that made me stop and think, and I thought I would bring it to you. So the question that appeared on Twitter was, so do you truly read that epigraph at the front of the book? And I thought, yeah, I read them, but I don't always understand. I don't know what it means or what I'm supposed to take from it. So I end up feeling like it's a little extraneous, and I don't spend a lot of time on it. And as I started thinking about this, it started making me think about a couple other aspects of reading and of items in books that I would love to bring to you and ask you and find out from all of you smart people, what do you do? So things like epigraphs, introductions, footnotes, appendices, acknowledgments. How do you treat these? So I'll just start with some of the things for me. So as I mentioned, when it comes to epigraphs, I'm so rooted in context, and I really like to have things set up for me that I don't yet know what to make of an epigraph. I don't really understand what it's supposed to tell me about what I'm going to be reading. I find it sometimes a little strange to be quoting from somebody else in reference to your own work. So just the concept of an epigraph, I think, confuses me as to why you would want it as an author. But I think it's interesting. But I will freely admit, I have never gone back to read an epigraph after I finished a book. So maybe that's something that I want to do now to kind of see what's effective. So I'd love to know from you, do you read epigraphs? Do you have a particular epigraph that stands in your mind that you're like, oh, this really said something, and this really helped me understand the book better, or prepared me for what I was going to read, or I don't know, it just sparked something? Please share if you have one of those, because I would love to know it. Introductions. Ironically, if there's an introduction from an author that I like to a book that I don't know anything about, I am more likely to buy it than a blurb. So an introduction to me means that there's a deep connection. It's not just that they share the same publishing house or something like that, that's like marketing ease. But an introduction means that there's an intellectual conversation happening. There's some kind of deeper connection that I consider when someone wants to do an introduction for a specific book. So that I'm interested in. And yet I don't read them. And I don't read them because I hate spoilers. I hate to be influenced going into a book. I like to know as little as possible going into a book so I can experience it for myself. And I find that a lot of times there's too much context setting in an introduction. It's all framed up for you, like what you're supposed to take from it or why something's important. And so I don't do it. And then I don't go back. So I'm recognizing things about myself as I'm talking to you today. I think I need to go back and look at some of the introductions now for some of the books that I really liked that I have here. So note to self, right? So please share, how do you feel about introductions? Do you read them going in, or do you come back after? Or do you do like I do and just not do them at all? Okay, footnotes. So I will say that footnotes are one thing that I kind of geek out on. So let me give you a couple examples. The first is these. I am a big fan of the Oxford University Press books. So I did a group read with 17th century women writers and read these books. And then now I'm doing a buddy read of Virginia Woolf's full collection with Elizabeth of Bookish North. And I'm reading these because I find the context is so interesting, and the footnotes just kind of allow me to get a little more modern insight into it. Now, this next one is very interesting. This author chose to add footnotes to a fiction book, but it helped to underscore the truths of lives of women in South Korea. One of my most favorite books. I talked about this in my favorites from last year. This is Kim Jiyoung, born 1982, by Nam-Joo, translated by Jamie Chang. I love this book, and there are footnotes all through here, which help to, as I said, underpin some of the conversations happening about sexism as discussed in this fictional book, which I thought just was brilliant. It was such a brilliant way to handle some of those conversations. And then another one of my favorite books from last year, this is Square Haunting, 5 Women, Freedom, and London Between the Wars by Francesca Wade. I just loved this book. And the footnotes here were phenomenal. Just so much rich information. And I think it's that context piece where epigraph, I don't know enough about to know the relevance. Introduction, I don't want it set for me, but as I'm going, kind of as a way to bolster and add more color to what I'm reading, footnotes are really, I adore. I don't really read acknowledgments. I think that's kind of bad, right? Is that kind of like leaving the cinema before all of the credits have run? Do you read the acknowledgments? I would love to know. I would love to know that as well. And also tell me about footnotes. Do you read footnotes, and are footnotes important to you? Do you enjoy them, or do they get in the way? Do you feel like that slows down your reading enjoyment? And then appendixes. I mean, are there, or afternotes? Do you read afternotes? I'm trying to think of the last book that had an afternote, and I can't really think of it. I think I have read afternotes, but I think it's because I'm so curious that an author would revisit, and what do they have to say that was so important that it needed to be added after. But I can't remember one specifically. So yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to chat about, and I would love to know from you. Are these things important to you? How does it enhance or detract from your reading experience? So that's it for me for now. Thank you for watching, and we're still in a global pandemic. So even though Berkeley is opening up, I still mask. So please, if you're out, maintain safe social distance. Wear your masks to protect those who are still vulnerable or unvaccinated. Wash your hands frequently and don't touch your face. That's it for me for now. Thank you, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.